Welcome back to Redneck's Dirty Hands. I'm Pete, and today we're going to be getting the fleet ready for, there's a show coming up in the next town over, Bethany, Ontario there. They got an annual, I think this is the 4th annual, it's a bike show and shine, and this year they're going to be doing mud bogs, so with ATVs, side-by-sides, whatnot. I'm hoping they'll let me run my Enticer there, but who knows, I don't know. They say it's for ATVs only. Maybe they'll make an exception, but I got to get the Enticer up and going. I want to build some wheels for it that I can just bolt on so I can drive that thing around, you know, instead of dragging the skis, because actually, that's an older sled, but those runners and carbides are in pretty good shape, and it just trenches everywhere it goes. So I want to put the wheel kit on there so it's a little more manageable to drive around in the summertime, because, you know, if you haven't seen this before, that's got the four-wheeler motor, Honda 400. Yeah, it's not a sled motor in that. That's got the gears and the clutch and all that stuff. So I want to make that my cruise around over at the show maybe, and then I got to get the bobber going, you know, get it cleaned up, shined up. I think I got a chance of winning, maybe winning the show and shine with that. She's a good-looking rig. And I got to get the beer runner off the shelf there. You know, it's been collecting a little bit of dust, but technically that's a bike now too. So, I mean, I got the wheels on the front of it and the track, so, you know, I can cruise that around, and I can enter that in the show and shine too. And I mean, between the beer runner and the bobber, yeah, I think Redneck's Dirty Hands might be taking a trophy home. You know, I know it's just a Suzuki Savage, but that is one savage of a bobber now. I got the beer holder on there, the nice exhaust all wrapped up. I got my knuckles bolted onto the frame there, the skull on the front. I mean, this thing's just sweet, so who knows, you know. I think some people will like it. But I mean, today's focus is really going to be putting the wheels on the old Enticer. You know, I got a few other older videos of, you know, me doing a little bit of work to this thing. If you guys haven't seen it, you know, go back, check that out. If this is the first time, you know, checking out one of our videos or whatever, it's a 1986 Enticer with a early 2000s Honda 400EX four-wheeler motor I put in there. So yeah, this thing, it's a little bit of a different design. I got the mock-up engine on there just to mimic, you know, she's a hot rod now, right? People might be asking, you know, like, why even bother? It's like, well, you know, just like my bobber, I got the cup holder on that. That's your beer holder there. So I was like, well, in the wintertime, we all like cruising around. Need a beer holder on this. So we got 8 of them. Those are, call them boomies because they're your beer holders. You know, like that's a beauty thing right there. She's got the clutch and gears. So we're shifting gears and chugging beers, baby. So, I mean, there's a few things wrong with this thing. It does run, but it's got a fuel line leaking on it. The battery was a little bit low. Got to get it charged up. Go over a few little things, and then got to figure out a wheel kit for this thing so we can drive her around. So, pitter patter, let's get at her. Cheers. So, I mean, as far as the bobber goes, there's not really a whole lot I got to do to it, aside from, you know, maybe shine up the white walls and give her a nice little wipe down. I mean, maybe clean the bird crap off the seat there. And, of course, pop that up. Yeah, there we go. Ready to roll. Yeah, this is the one I bought off the lady. It had the timing chain issue. I did the modification on the timing chain tensioner there, and this thing's been working mint ever since. You know, I had about 40,000, just over 40,000 K on it when I did all that. About 47,000 on it here now, and she runs mint, and she looks good. I mean, look at that thing. Sexy. Nice one. Gotta love. Terminator skull on there. Dirty hands, baby. Best part of the bike right there. As for the Enticer there, I mean, it does run and all that, but yeah, you know, I do got the clutch, you know, and the shifter down in the footwell there, you know, one up, rest down. But, yeah, she should spark up, fuel pump on, little start button. Listen to that. Nice one. So yeah, I just got to get this thing tuned up, fix one of the fuel leaks on there, and then I'm going to do the bolt-on wheel kit. A lot of guys they'll take the skis right off and, you know, put a wheel setup on there. I don't really want to do that. I want to just add a wheel to the ski. That way, you know, I can just bolt it on to the ski, go wheeling around or whatever, and then if we get into the mud and real deep stuff, the skis will actually still kind of float. That's my theory anyway, but at least we'll give it a go. We'll try. And I found these old wheels set up off a really old riding lawnmower I've had out back for years. I mean, these things aren't the greatest. I mean, these things are showing more crack than the plumber's convention, but I mean, they seem to hold air. I aired them up and it's still, they seem fairly solid, so we'll use them for now. I'm sure, this is an oddball old size. Like, what do we got? Drop everything, Pete. 340 by 307. Yeah, they might be a little bit of a hard tire to find, but I'm sure it's a 3/4 shaft. They're about 12 inches in diameter, so I'm sure I could find a replacement wheel if I gotta, but we'll roll with this for now. So I found some scrap steel that I had laying around. I just cut it up into some sections. It's a piece of angle with a gradual bend on it. Works kind of good, so I can lay that in the ski. So what I'm thinking is I could drop that guy down in there. Fits in the channel of the ski pretty nice. And I can center it up to the bolt, so I don't know if the pivot point stays neutral or whatever. I can weld that little support in there to stiffen her up. Then I'll have the wheel come down on the outside. So then she'll just be rolling on the wheel. I can bolt that plate down on both sides of the skis. And then when I don't want the wheel on, just unbolt that and away you go. I don't have to worry about dicking around, swapping the skis off or anything. I can just bolt these wheels right to it. And then you still kind of get the suspension of the ski, right? So if I just did it the other way and rigged up the wheels on there, she'd be rock solid. And yeah, we don't want to be shaking this thing like crazy. So let's sticker jack in there. Just like so, a little bit. That should be, might not even go quite that high. I'll mock it up, get those wheels kind of tacked on there, and see what happens. Okay, so I got them tacked on there, and I just laid a piece of aluminum all the way down to the track so I could try and set the alignment for the toe, make sure they're true to here. So I tacked them onto the skis. Let's see how it goes here. Set her down. Yeah. Shit, that don't work. I thought those skis were nice and solid, but they've just folded in on themselves. So, back to the drum board. So I was going to pull the bolt out so I could take the ski right off and try and rethink this whole situation, but yeah, I can get the nut off, but that bolt is seized in there so freaking tight. So I got them all tacked together, but this is worse than going down to see the Titanic in a homemade submarine. Like, this is just dumb. As soon as I let it down, yeah, they lean like the Tower of Pisa, and the skis are touching the ground. We need some thinking juice. We got to take a break and revise the situation here. Yeah, this whole idea I got going on, let's chuck that right in the dumpster. That's no good. We need something better. I wish those bolts weren't seized in there to get the skis off, so I'm gonna have to struggle and fight with that. I got to get the ski off so I can work with the main anchor plate there. You know what? Sometimes the job just isn't going right. You got to reevaluate, sit down, have a beer, think things over, and then, reassess. I was sitting here racking my brain. I wanted to make this work so you could have the wheel bolt on and bolt off, and, it'd be easy to switch and all that. Dual purpose. But problem with these old skis and everything is because of the leaf spring, all the bushings and everything are so loose, and the ski itself is pretty flimsy. So as soon as you put the weight on, just because the wheel's sitting out off to the side, the leverage of it just tips the freaking ski in, so they're touching the ground. So kind of defeats the purpose of having a wheel. So, the beauty part about being a bit of a scrap hauler and hoarder of sorts, you don't really throw things out. And I kind of remembered in the one container there, I had a set of casters. There's 4 of these, 2 of these angle swivel ones and 2 straight ones. So did a little bit MacGyvering. Yeah, hey, why not go back to the old KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. And I had those straight ones. I had to shorten them up a little bit, but basically just welded and made them up so they go straight off the original spindles. And I mean, yeah, it looks kind of like a T-Rex or that Butler from the Scary Movie with the little bitty hand. But I mean, in theory, it should work. I don't know. We gotta take it for a test drive, I guess. I mean, this setup would have been cool, but it was getting a little too, a little too complicated, and it wasn't too structurally sound. So, I mean, taking these casters here, basically, I mean, they were longer, so I cut those off and moved the plates down, so we got as low a clearance as can. Like, you can just get a little wee hair, get a curly one through there, but then I just made some tabs, so I'm using the original bolts, go right through, bolt it on, and then basically it puts it straight in line, so it should turn fairly simple, I think. I've got the alignment close-ish, you know. It looks like one wild shopping cart, but yeah, I mean, it should work. I mean, it ain't gonna be much for going through mud bogs or anything, but it's gonna be mint for cruising around the yard. I charged up the battery, and I mean, you know, she's in a little bit of a world of hurt. It's been sitting for a bit. I thought that fuel line was leaking. It was squirting some stuff out, but I mean, if I turn her on, ain't nothing squirting out of there now, so I'm guessing. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's not leaking now. Got my Amazon carburetor on there. That's the Honda 400EX, and that's the drive. I just took the original chain case and took the secondary off, made that hub there for put a sprocket on, and then I cut apart the original chain case and I flipped the gears, because the way this works, because you got the transmission on the bike, but the ratio from the chain case, because of these things originally run the CVT, didn't work out. This thing would do all of like 5 miles an hour, and that's it. Didn't matter what gear you were in. So I cut that chain case apart, put the small sprocket from the top onto the bottom, and the big sprocket from the bottom onto the top. That there gave me the ratio I need so I can actually get this thing to move and drive. And I just put sealed bearings in the chain case there so they stay lubricated, and then I just hit this with some grease, keep her lubed up. I don't know, should be good to go. Let's load up a beer in the Zoomy and take her for a rip. There we go. Okay. We'll pop this one in cylinder 8. Okay. Fuel on, ignition, start. Oh yeah. Touch, first gear, engage. Look at that, I don't even have to give it any throttle to get it rolling. Nice one. Look at that. And just in case you think I'm joking here, there she is, all on her own, just cruising. She's going to town all on her own, boys. What do you think, D-Ron?
Well, maybe get caught in that sand there. You might be doing some little bit of front wheels.
They're tiny little wheels, but I was going through all the mud back there. And I have no idea how... Oh, let's see. Is it like James Bond? Shaking, not stirred? Oh, yeah. She's shaking. Jeez, I only brought one bag. I didn't know you were back here.
Don't worry, I got a whole bag here.
Oh, cheers. This thing's working pretty good so far.
Yeah, it is.
It survived a trip out back for a beer break, too.
Yeah, oh yeah, get out of that.
Now, we gotta see if it'll make it home.
One of these on the front, it'll go.
Oh, Bush. Get out of here. Canadian all the way, brother. See you, D-Ron! Alright, let's go get dirty. So far so good. This thing's working pretty good, but I had to even out the engine there. I was one side was firing more than the other, so I got one on that side and one on this side. So hopefully she'll be running nice and smooth. Let's see how she goes down the road. She's smoking. Oh, was it on fire? Oh my God. Ooh, baby. Yeah, I think she got a little warm there, Jim. Beer break. Oh, she might have been getting a little hot because the fan blade fell off of there. Whoa. Oh, poor fella. Come here. Yeah, that's... Jesus. Oh, there's the rest of the blades down in there. Okay, we're gonna have to find a new fan. Oh, that's no good. Not only was this thing cooking her down the road, but it's literally cooking, so better let it cool down and take a break. Oh, shaken, not stirred. I just showed the clip of this to Kenny there. Told him why it caught fire. This is what was burning on there. All the foam was all melted. The wood in here was all charred. So cut that out, and my buddy Scooter there gave me a 3-inch roll of this tape. So we'll get her all taped up and go for round two. All right, now we got her all wrapped up with the foil. should stop the heat from getting it, or like Kenny says, it might be like Jiffy Pop popcorn. She might go right up. Boop. That was a close call. I mean, that literally was on fire. I mean, the rear end of this thing was almost as hot as Christina's rear end. It was smoking, but thankfully, God, hopefully that heat tape, stops that from happening again. But anywho, so yeah, the wheel kit seems to work. Now, I know this thing ain't setting any land speed records, it's not that impressive, ripping down the road or whatever, but it's not really what it's for. It's just something to be different, 4-stroke, it's got clutch of gears on the snowmobile. And my thinking is, we were just at the racetrack there with all the outlaw guys, they're trying to get me into doing the asphalt racing and whatnot, and they all use golf carts to drag or push their sleds to the starting line, and then when they're down at the end, when they got to be picked up, brought down the return lane, they use their golf carts for that. And it's like, well, if I'm going to do it, I need something better than a golf cart to do it. So I think that'll be my push-pull rig. The only downside with an idea like that is she ain't got no reback. So I might have a fix for that. I do have a Warrior 350 out of a Yamaha. Still runs and drives and all that. It's an older quad. But they have the reverse built in on there. So I mean, that could make this thing the cat's ass, so maybe it might be something worth looking into, but I'd say this one, aside from, having to put some more Gorilla Tape on the seat to doctor that up, she's good to go. So, yeah, move on to maybe get the beer runner down, and gotta get my Savage, haven't driven it in a while, charge the battery up, take it for a rip down the road, make sure everything's good, and then take the beer runner for a little bit of a rip, make sure everything's good on that. All right, so wheels on the Enticer, check, that's done. Nice one, she works real good. Fireproof the seat, hopefully, check. Yeah, that could have been really bad, but we got that aluminum tape on there, so should be good now. So that part of the job and the video is done. We can cruise her around outside, so now I haven't ridden the bike in a little while, so we gotta take this for a test rip just to make sure it's good for the bike show tomorrow. And I say we kick tires, light the fires. Let's load up the bevy holder and take her for a wrap. Gotta have the Redneck's Dirty Hands official jacket. So far, we're 2 for 2. The Enticer's working good, and the bobber, she works real good. So I think it's time for a break, and then we'll make sure the beer runner is up and running. It's been a while since I had it running, but it's break time. The only problem with the beer holder on the bike is you get all kinds of dirt and dust on there. Cheers. Oh, yeah.
All right, so got to try and fire up the beer runner. It's been sitting for a while, and for some reason that thing sits for any length of time. You could tug on that as much as you want, and she won't go, you know. So I usually been giving it a squirt of, like, you know, the brake clean and the carburetor there. I don't know why it does that, you know. Maybe it's because it's an Amazon carburetor, you know, not the highest quality. It came from overseas, you know, but I don't know, just like it's not picking up the fuel, so usually a little psst in there fires right up. I know a lot of guys have been giving me crap about, you know, especially on the two-stroke, spraying the brake clean in there to get everything started. I mean, it works great. So I figured I'd try something else on. So I went back on Amazon, picked up this. That's aluminum. You could fill it with whatever you want, charge it up with some air. You got your own aerosol can, and you got one of our stickers on there. So in this, I have some VP 40-to-1 race fuel premix. I was down at the local PV Mart, and they had these things on sale, like $9.99. You know, so about a mitt full of these. You know, it's already pre-mixed, good for the weed whackers, all that stuff. And I figure, hey, for getting especially all the two strokes, fill it in that, give it a little squirt. It's pretty cool. It's got a little tip on there. You can fold it out. I don't know how much PSI you're supposed to put in there, but I just gave her a little bit, and oh, yeah, she's a squirter. So we'll just yank that air filter off of there. We'll give it a little pss in there and give her a tug. Should spark up, and we'll take that for a rip. So yeah, it has been a while. I've got the air filter zip tied on there because it kept falling off, you know, same thing. It came with the carburetor, not the highest quality, but we'll just pop her off of there, open up the throttle, give her a little squirt. That should probably do it. You gotta hold the brake on this thing because she just revs up and wants to take off instantly, so been there, done that. We don't want to do it again. Come on. Another little sniff. Kim? Ow! Almost. I think maybe it just needs to warm up a little bit. All right, I think we're golden. Man. All right, well, I'd say the fleet's ready, man. All three up and running, cruising down the road, no problem at all. So I'd say that's something to have. Cheers, have a drink. I hope you enjoyed this video, you know, just something playing around, that way I can use that to bomb around, you know, the yard. It's nothing spectacular, you know, it's not setting any land speed records, but it's a fun little rig to ride around. It's different. Buddy in that blue Chevy, when I was out ripping the beer runner there, he was giving me the thumbs up, you know, and I love that, you know, cruising these things out. Nobody else, you know, you haven't seen anything like that going down the road, and guaranteed you ain't seen nothing like that, so, yeah. That's why I do what I do. So hopefully, you know, tomorrow, Bethany, Ontario, the Guts and Gears Mud Bogs Show and Shine for the bikes. I'm entering the beer runner into the Show and Shine and the bobber. I think they're going to do pretty good, you know. They catch the attention, you know what I mean? So if any of you are going to be out and about or want something to do, check out the Guts and Gears in Bethany, Ontario. I'll be there, you know, having a beer or two, you know, watching the festivities, maybe I don't know, just hanging out with good people, having a good time, and, you know, some people, I don't know, maybe I'll take that through the Mud Bogs, maybe I'll take that through the Mud Bogs. Man, it depends how many beers, maybe we'll take that through the Mud Bogs. Just kidding, I ain't gonna take that through the Mud Bogs. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed this video. You know, I enjoy making these videos. You know, as always, you know, leave a comment, hit the like button, you know, share it. Want to thank everybody going to the website, you know, www.rednecksdirtyhands.com. We got stickers and hats and should have some hoodies up there soon too. And, you know, every little bit helps. We really appreciate the support. And as always, take her easy. Cheers.